Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Way of Wade 808-3 Ultra. So this is one of my favorite shoe lines of recent history because it reminds me a lot of Kobe's, and the 808 line is dedicated to giving us a hoop shoe with a drop-in midsole, right? So this shoe goes for 160 bucks. There are some really dope colorways. I love my Oxygen colorway. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. And as far as the color goes, we have a solid rubber outsole, right? Comparing it to the 808-2 Ultra with the Oxygen colorway, we had a translucent, but here we have a solid rubber outsole, which I do like, and we have a very, very wavy herringbone traction pattern, right? And how is the traction performance? It performs really well, right? So if you're playing on a clean court, you're gonna have amazing stops, pretty much stop on a dime, and I would say it's pretty much top tier traction. Amazing stops. If you're playing on a dusty court, however, it does pick up a little bit of dust, right? It was affected by dust a little bit. However, it's a very easy wipe, right? So you just do 1 to 2 very easy wipes and you're good to go, and you have really good stops again. It doesn't pick up dust that quickly, but also it does pick up dust, right? So if you're playing on a super dirty court or a pretty dusty court, then just know that you're gonna have to wipe, but it's not a huge deal because, like I said, it's a very easy wipe, and if you don't mind wiping, then you should be fine on a dusty court. And also for durability, you should be okay. I mean, they are saying that it's tough rubber, right? However, I guess here we do have more grooves, right? As you guys can see, we have more grooves, more rubber, so that would mean better durability. However, the rubber seems a little bit softer because the grooves are a little bit thinner here, and also here in the heel. However, where the regular kind of wavy herringbone traction pattern is, the rubber is actually pretty hard. So I feel like you should be fine on an outdoor court. I mean, 808, the line is pretty much made for outdoor use, right? Because they're saying it's tough rubber, right? So overall traction is really good, top tier performance. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, overall it is pretty damn smooth. It does feel a little clunky here in the heel, however, because there's no actual midsole, right? So we have all this plastic, we have the rubber as well. It kind of reminds me of like the KD5 Elite Low. You guys remember that shoe with like the crazy plastic, right? So it is a little bit clunky, but we do have a nice like rounded shape, so it doesn't feel terrible, right? Like if it was an edged out shape like the Jordan 12 was, then I would really hate it, but it has a nice rounded shape, so it's not bad, right? And then here in the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape. Look at that, and also a lot of flexibility here in the forefoot. So overall, heel to toe transition is pretty damn smooth. It's just a little clunky here in the heel. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So like I said, we do have a drop-in midsole, and it's full-length boom cushion, right? So the boom cushion is actually really nice. We have good compression, especially here in the heel. It's super duper soft, right? In the forefoot, you can't really feel it as much because it's so damn thin. I don't know why they make it so thin, right? But it is so good for court feel. If you want court feel, this is pretty much as good as it gets, you know what I mean? It reminds me a lot of the Hardens, reminds me of like the 2AV2 as well. Super duper low to the ground. So if you want court feel, it's really nice, right? But I feel like, in my personal opinion, I would have made it a little bit thicker, sacrifice a little bit of the court feel, and make it a little bit softer, you know what I mean? Just because impact protection isn't the best, right? So, I mean, it is boom cushion, so it is pretty damn good for impact protection for how low to the ground you are, right? But if you are doing really hard impacts, then your feet are gonna hurt a little bit, right? So just be careful on that. But for the most part, if you want like really good core feel and also good step and comfort, because the boom cushion is pretty much right underneath your foot, then it's really nice. And also we have this crazy texture, as you guys can see. So because of this texture, it grabs onto your sock, and it feels really nice because it's just like grabbing onto your foot, and just your foot feels really locked into this drop-in midsole, which I do like as well. And also, as you guys can see, we have this kind of like plastic piece right here in the forefoot, and kind of extends into the midfoot, giving you a little bit more springiness, right? Which does feel nice. So the overall cushioning setup, I really like it. It's responsive, it has good step and comfort. Underfoot cushioning is just a little bit lacking in the impact protection department. I mean, if you're doing like moderate impact, you should be fine, right? But if you're doing super hard impact, like if you got them springs, you know what I mean? You got them bunnies, then it's probably not the best for impact protection, right? So just be careful on that. And now moving on to the upper. So as far as the upper goes, we have a nice mesh material. So here in the toe box, right, we have a lot of ventilation holes, right? And also a lot of fuse on this upper as well. But I don't really mind the fuse all too much just because look at how thin it is. Super duper thin material. It's super soft too. It conforms to my foot extremely well, while being pretty damn supportive. You know what I mean? It doesn't stretch at all, right? It does kind of like roll over on itself just a tiny bit, but overall very supportive as well. So I do like how the material feels on foot. I mean, for 160 bucks, I guess it does feel a little cheap, right? And I don't think this will be super durable, especially with all these open ventilation holes. So be careful on that, but it does feel nice on foot, right? And same thing here in the midfoot. You can see just how minimal this upper is, right? So it stays super duper thin. Also, another thing that kind of does worry me is the eyelets, right? So we do just have cords. It's just like a cord. It kind of reminds me of the D-Rose 8. And the D-Rose 8, a lot of people had problems as well because the eyelets were snapping, right? So yeah, the same thing here in the 808 Ultra. I haven't had any problems, but I would be careful on that. And then for the tongue, we have no padding, like very minimal padding. So it doesn't feel super cozy, right? It's also a half booty construction tongue, and the bottom of the tongue right here is made up of very open mesh material, right? And then here in the ankle area, we actually have like an average amount of padding. Like here where your ankle bone is, like on the sides of the shoe, it's not even like a Achilles pad. I don't even know what it is. It's just like a different material, and there's not extra foam there. I don't know why they added it. And also there is a nice bit of padding here where your Achilles is supposed to rest. So that feels pretty nice as well. So the overall material, it feels really nice on foot. Super minimal. I mean, if you're looking for something cozy, this is not the best option. But if you're looking for something minimal, something that's soft, conforms to your foot very well, then this is a great option, right? And also, I really like the window. Right? It exposes the drop-in midsole here on the medial side, which I think looks pretty cool. So there's the upper there. Moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size and it fits me very well, right? So lengthwise, I would say there's a little bit of length, but it is a very snug fit here in the toe box. And also widthwise, I would say it's slightly narrow. So I feel like if I did go true to size, it would be a little snug, right? But I feel like I could have dealt with it, you know what I mean? Because I do like a really snug fit, but I was still okay going up half a size, right? So if you want a super duper snug fit, then I would probably suggest going true to size, but be careful with that. But for most people, like if you want like a little bit more of a looser fit, but still snug, then going up half a size will be a good option. If you have a wide foot or you want a super roomy fit, then probably go up a full size or maybe even a size and a half. Because this is a very snug fit. But like I said, for me, going up half a size, it fits me very well. And now moving on to the support and lockdown. So support and lockdown, I mean lateral containment, especially with shoes that have drop-in midsoles, you're gonna be good to go. You're gonna be covered, right? Because first of all, with the drop-in midsole, we do have a raised sidewall. And so the foam kind of cups up a little bit and acts as a sidewall, giving you better lateral support. And also, not only that, we have on the upper, like on the actual outside of the shoe as well, we have these plastic pieces, right? So here in the forefoot, we have that acting as a sidewall, here in the midfoot as well. And then here in the heel, we have carbon fiber and also this crazy plastic, it's basically like an external heel counter, right? So lateral containment, I was good to go. Even if you're a bigger dude, you should be fine. You should be covered, right? And also we have a crazy outrigger. It's a very wide base as well. Lateral stability is super good. And like I said, you're very low to the ground here in the forefoot because the cushion has great core feel. So lateral stability was good. I didn't have any issues with a heel slippage or anything like that. And when I tightened the laces up, my foot felt very locked into the shoe. So support and lockdown was really good for me. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it's like a little bit heavier than average, right? Yeah, so 13.35 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 13.25 ounces, right? So it's a little bit heavier than average. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, it is a little bit heavy. I feel like they did go a little overboard, especially with all this plastic. It's a really hard, stiff plastic. So maybe put a hole here, right? You know, lighten up the plastic a little bit. It feels very responsive, however, you know what I mean? I felt very quick when I was playing it because the traction was super good. The cushion was low to the ground and very responsive. My foot felt locked into the shoe. So I didn't have any issues when I was playing it, right? The only gripe I kind of had, I guess there's two, right? Was The heel was a little clunky, which wasn't a huge deal, but it's just a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, you know what I mean? But I know a lot of people don't really mind that, right? But also the impact protection, right? Like on hard impacts. Like I said, it's not terrible or anything, but my feet did hurt a little bit on the harder impacts. So, but that was it. Other than that, amazing shoe. I felt very quick, right? And as far as the ventilation is amazing, guys. There's so much airflow through this upper right here in the toe box and also on the lateral side as well. It's a super thin upper. So yeah, ventilation super duper good, and aesthetically, I love how the shoe looks, right? They killed it with the design. And also the colorways that are coming out. This shoe looks freaking amazing. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, they killed it again with the 808 3 Ultra, right? Definitely, I feel like the Ultra for $40 more, I don't think it's a great deal. You know what I mean? Because the regular 808 3 is still super duper nice. You know what I mean? Like, I guess they're giving us just carbon fiber and I guess the cushion with the full length boom setup, but the regular 808 3 with the Cloud Plus and also the 4-foot boom pod that's bottom loaded into the drop-in midsole is still pretty damn nice, and it's very very comparable to this because it's a drop-in midsole and it's super duper thin. You know what I mean? So for $40 more, I don't think it's a huge upgrade, but if you do want to spend the extra money and get the more premium materials and tech, then this is still a great option, and it's an amazing performer. You know what I mean? I love playing in the shoe. It'll definitely heavily be in my rotation. And if you've ever played in Kobe's, it plays extremely similarly to Kobe's. You know what I mean? Amazing traction. You got that drop in midsole, especially here within the heel. It does feel a little clunky, like the Kobe's, like the Kobe 8, Kobe 9, Kobe 11. You know what I mean? So yeah, amazing performer, and I feel like most people will like it, especially if you're a guard. But anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Wade 808 3 Ultra. Again, if you guys want to cop, try to leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.